This is Village in Motion, Thursday, October the 10th, and I'm Clint Lambert. It's my pleasure to be the host today of Village in Motion. And I have with me in the studio Cody, who is our finance director, and we've been kind of laughing around here this morning. You know everybody's in a good mood after the win of the Nationals last night. Way to go, Nats. And look forward to a great series starting Friday with the Nats. So look forward to that. But first of all, Cody, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Good.
Glad to have you with us this morning.
Good to be here.
Speaking of how are you, what is our financial status here at Green Spring?
So our financial status is very strong and stable. And there's a couple of indicators and stats that kind of point us there. So the first one that I always like to talk about is our Fitch rating, which is a AA- with a stable outlook. And what that is that's similar to like a Standard & Poor's or a Moody's bond rating.
Okay.
They have the same rating scale. And a AA- is one of the top ratings that you can get, especially as a CCRC. We are one of 2 CCRCs in the nation with that bond rating, and the only 2 that have that high of a bond rating.
Only 2 continuing care retirement communities have that. Wow.
Yep. Us and some CCRC up in Boston.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and that rating comes from the fact that we have strong cash on hand and strong debt service coverage,
Right.
as well as a healthy balance sheet. And so what I mean by that is, you know, if we were to not be able to take any revenue,
Right.
catastrophe hits, we could still operate Green Spring for almost 900 days.
Which is
without
phenomenal.
taking in another penny.
Yeah.
And so that is a big thing. So if you're ever worried about, you know, are the lights going to be on, or is the water going to be running,
Right.
we can keep the lights on for you.
Okay.
And not stealing the slogan from Motel 6 there. And our debt service coverage is over 4, which means that at any point during the year, we could pay our annual debt 4 times.
Okay.
So we have plenty of cash and we have plenty of resources to pay our bills and our annual debt. And that really tells me that Green Spring is a strong community
Right.
financially, and that we're here for the long haul. We are always looking short-term, but also long-term in terms of our financial projections, and we see really great things for the future.
Which is tremendous. When you say cash on hand, that doesn't mean actual dollars, Chris bills, right?
No. So that is cash on hand is all of our cash and cash equivalents, as we like to call it.
Okay.
So it's our checking account, but it's also our investments that we have in our tier 2. And we were talking a little bit
Right.
earlier about the 3 tiers of money that we keep on our balance sheet. The first one is our cash, so that's just like anyone's checking account. We can go. We don't have like a card or anything, but we can pay our bills out of that
Right.
checking account. The second one is our short-term investments, or our tier 2. And that's really, that short-term 30 to 60-day investment. We keep a little bit of reserve in there just to gain a little bit of interest, maybe 2%, 1 to 2% if we
Okay.
can. And then our tier 3 is where we hold the majority of our available cash. And that's what is invested in that Vanguard fund that is managed by NSC and the board. And we see annually we see about a 6% return on that, which is very strong.
Yes.
Considering the financial climate we've had over the last few years.
Very good. So everything says we're financially sound.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay, even if there was a tremendous depression or stock market crash, right?
Yes, I'd say we're very safe, and we are leveraged to remain stable during a financial crisis.
Okay. We've been having a lot of construction going on around here. Took a number of years to get to this point, but when we
Yes.
got here, it just came in a bundle.
Yes.
How are we paying for all of this?
Good question. So we've talked about this a few times, but it always deserves repeating
Right.
because it is a bit confusing to some of our residents. So our capital funds, we're self-funded. We're not taking on any additional debt or financing as it stands right now. And we are fully funded through the appreciation of our entrance deposits.
Okay.
So when someone passes away or moves out, that entrance deposit is refunded at what they paid when they came in. and the entrance deposit coming in is normally higher than that,
Right.
because of the market inflation and our increase of our entrance deposits year over year. And so that difference in the new entrance deposit coming in versus the old entrance deposit going out helps fund our capital projects.
And so our entrance deposit coming in goes into a money-making account?
Yeah, so somewhat. A lot of it is invested in Tier 3. A lot of it is kept in our cash account to pay for our capital expenditures that are currently going on.
Okay.
It really just depends on how much money we need at that time and what we're projecting to go out the door for our capital projects at that any given time.
And so then we make money on the money that each resident deposits initially?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. You make the interest rate or you make the investment rate
Correct.
on that money.
Correct.
When we leave here, either willingly or otherwise, then our initial deposit comes back to us. And Greenspring keeps all the appreciation that has occurred over the time that we've been
Keeps
here.
that interest,
Keeps
yes.
that interest,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Because that interest helps fund our capital projects as well. And as a financial entity, we don't rely on interest to drive our bottom line.
Right.
It's just kind of something nice that we have, and we are lucky to have enough invested in the right buckets to get that 6% yield.
Okay.
But as an entity, we don't rely on that. But it does help fund our capital projects so that we can try and keep our entrance deposit increases as reasonable as possible.
Okay. Then do we also make money off of our monthly service fee?
Yes, we do. So generally, Greenspring makes about 15 cents on the dollar
Okay.
in a profit margin. So 15 to 16% profit margin. And those funds are retained here at the campus. We are a 501c3, so we're not paying stockholders or shareholders or any of those types of financial institutions, and so all of those dollars remain here and are held here to be invested back in the community.
Okay.
And so those funds are also a part of that close to 900 days of cash on hand.
All right. If we had a catastrophe, we would just slowly whittle down that 900 days, or would we pull it all out at one time?
We would slowly whittle it down. We would try and keep as much in investments as possible if we felt that those investments would result in a gain.
Okay.
We have a cash team up at our home office that we work closely with that helps with our investment policy, as well as the board that would make a decision if we needed to liquidate quickly or if they think we should stay long term. And we do, from an investing standpoint, look for the long term. We're not in the day trading game where we're trying to win big every day.
Okay. And for that, then we have Tier 3, right? And that's our long-term investments, right?
Correct, and that's mostly mutual funds with Vanguard.
Okay.
Yep.
There is a person at corporate known as the head of Treasury, right?
Yes.
And what does she do in regards to us and our monies?
Good question. She was actually just here last
Right.
month to meet with the finance committee, and she really oversees our investment strategies. She works closely with the board of directors to monitor our financial position as well as the other campuses. She oversees the cash team, the treasury team, as well as the accounts payable team up at our home office in Catonsville. So she's really in charge of the cash coming in and the cash going out. Once we have received the cash, she's not in charge of the AR team, but once we've received the cash, she's in charge of putting it in the right place and then paying out our vendors and our contractors as needed.
Okay. What effect has it had on her and on you and everyone with us going to the automatic payment system for our monthly service fee?
Sure. So it's really helped us with better timeliness of payments for those who are enrolled in online billing. The payments post a lot faster compared to as a check coming in the mail, having that time in the mail versus, and then once it hits our lockbox, the processing time. So we are seeing a lot more timely payment postings and more accurate payment postings with online billing.
Okay. So that means more interest, right?
Yes. Yep. Because we can invest that money that we don't have to pay out right away and potentially gain more interest in the market.
Okay. Speaking of paying out right away, as we mentioned, all the renovations and construction and everything.
Sure.
Are we paying those bills right away? Are we holding anything? Are we getting billed as we progress, or is that something at the end?
So for most of our big capital projects, we get billed based off of the terms of the contract we have with the vendor. Most of the time that means we pay maybe a kind of a deposit, and then progressively as certain milestones are hit, they submit invoices for us to pay, and we pay them with the given payment terms that we've agreed to within the contract. Sometimes it's 15 days, 30 days, 45 days. It really depends on what we've negotiated with the vendor.
I've heard and been told over the years being involved with all this that we will make back the monies that we have put out for all the construction in a relatively short period of time.
I believe so, especially with Dogwood, and once that is, once Garden Ridge repositioning is fully online, we'll see a spike in our revenue that we're getting, partially because Dogwood is a premium product, so we can charge slightly more for that product, but also we do have beds offline during construction, and once we get those beds back online, we'll be experiencing the revenue gains from having those beds back online and people in those rooms. And the same with our town center repositionings and any other future repositionings. What it does is it gives us additional product offerings, additional revenue sources potentially with added dining venues, better spaces to hold catering events for residents and such. So we do see a return on investment of a pretty short period of time.
Very, very good. We're running out of time.
All right.
Any words of wisdom to all of us in regards to finances?
If you have questions, please give the finance team a call. But, I think I can, safely say that Greenspring is in a very safe and financially stable position, and that, all of the money that we are investing in the community is for a good cause, and we're trying to improve the community as best as we can.
Okay. Your office is going to be moving shortly.
Yes.
Do we have a date yet of when it's going to be moving?
I haven't heard the specific date, but before the end of the year, we should be over in Village Square.
Okay. But until then, you're still in Town Center?
Until then, we're still in Town Center.
Right next
until
to
further
Coffee Pot.
notice, yes.
Okay. Well, Cody, we're so glad to have you with us, and we greatly appreciate all of the input you give us about finances and things that are going on in the finance department, and letting us know that we're stable.
Yes. Thanks, Clint.
Greatly appreciate it.